In 2010, a charismatic young entrepreneur named Adam Neumann stood in the heart of New York City. He didn't just see empty desks and bare concrete floors in a rundown building. He saw a global movement, a spiritual collective, and a multi-billion-dollar empire waiting to be born. That singular vision was electric, infectious, and dangerously unmoored from basic financial reality. WeWork would eventually be valued at a staggering $47 billion before everything dissolved. This is the definitive story of the greatest financial illusion Silicon Valley and Wall Street ever bought into. Adam Neumann was born in Israel in 1979 and spent his early years living on a traditional kibbutz. After serving as an officer in the Israeli Navy, he arrived in New York City with boundless, raw ambition. His early entrepreneurial ventures were bizarre failures, including selling collapsible baby knee pads. But what Neumann lacked in operational discipline, he more than made up for in sheer magnetic charisma. He didn't just pitch traditional business ideas to investors, he masterfully sold complete belief systems. By 2010, he found the perfect partner in Miguel McKelvey, a quiet, structured co-founder with architectural vision. The concept was simple: take long-term commercial real estate leases, chop them up, and rent them short-term. Neumann and McKelvey opened their very first official WeWork location in New York's trendy Soho district. They targeted the rapidly rising demographic of freelance creators, desperate startups, and tech nomads. The offices didn't feel like stagnant corporate cubicles, they felt like high-end boutique hotels. Free-flowing craft beer, glass-walled conference rooms, and pumping music created an addictive, energetic vibe. Startups rushed in, craving not just a desk, but a deeply desired sense of modern community. Neumann knew that traditional real estate companies were valued at boring, low financial multiples. To achieve true billionaire status, he had to convince the world that WeWork was actually a tech company. He famously declared that WeWork was a state of mind, and physical social network expanding globally. The company began investing heavily in advanced space utilization software and automated data tracking systems. Wall Street analysts were completely blinded by the explosive, exponential growth curves Neumann presented. The venture capital world began treating a real estate middleman like the next Google or Facebook. In 2017, Adam Neumann met Masayoshi Son, the legendary and erratic billionaire head of SoftBank. Their historic first meeting lasted less than 30 minutes, but it changed the financial world forever. Masa Son told Neumann that he wasn't being crazy enough, urging him to make WeWork 10 times bigger. SoftBank poured billions of dollars into WeWork, supercharging the company with unlimited financial oxygen. With a massive multi-billion-dollar war chest, WeWork began a hyper-aggressive global expansion campaign. They leased entire skyscrapers across major international capitals, completely ignoring the mounting financial losses. Inside WeWork's corporate headquarters, the atmosphere rapidly devolved into a full-blown corporate cult. The phrase "elevate the world's consciousness" became the company's official, unironic mission statement. Mandatory multi-day music festivals called Summer Camp featured mandatory tequila shots and massive pop stars. Employees worked grueling 80-hour weeks, fueled entirely by the fanatical belief that they were saving humanity. Neumann presided over it all like a rock star prophet, walking barefoot through the streets of Manhattan. Anyone who questioned the actual profitability of the business model was instantly cast out as an infidel. As SoftBank's billions continued to flood the gates, WeWork's investment strategy became completely unhinged. They spent millions acquiring a wave pool company because Adam Neumann loved the sport of surfing. They launched WeGrow, a luxury elementary school in Manhattan designed to teach young toddlers entrepreneurship. They opened WeLive, an experimental residential housing concept that was essentially communal dorm living for adults. The company was burning through hundreds of millions of dollars every single quarter with zero profit in sight. Yet, the global corporate valuation kept artificially climbing, propped up entirely by SoftBank's massive financial injections. While WeWork was bleeding cash on a massive scale, Adam Neumann was quietly enriching himself enormously. He purchased commercial buildings using personal loans and then leased them directly back to WeWork. In a move that shocked corporate governance experts, he trademarked the word "we" for himself. He then forced his own company to pay him nearly $6 million just to license the trademark back. He spent tens of millions on custom private luxury jets, high-end estates, and speculative tech investments. The line between company money and personal wealth had completely and utterly vanished. By late 2019, WeWork desperately needed more cash to sustain its insane, unprofitable global burn rate. The only viable path forward was to take the company public through an initial public offering on Wall Street. In August, WeWork officially filed its public Form S-1 registration statement with the SEC. The document was intended to be a serious financial prospectus for sophisticated institutional investors. Instead, it read like a bizarre, pseudo-religious spiritual manifesto filled with confusing corporate metrics. The public filing inadvertently pulled back the curtain, exposing the terrifying financial rot underneath. The financial world stared in absolute horror at the cold, hard numbers revealed in the official S-1 document. WeWork had lost a staggering $1.6 billion in the single year of 2018 alone. For every single dollar the company generated in revenue, it was actively spending $2 to maintain operations. The prospectus exposed a total lack of independent oversight, with Neumann possessing absolute voting control. The highly anticipated public offering quickly transformed from a victory lap into a brutal public execution. Wall Street investors flatly refused to buy stock in a real estate company masquerading as a tech unicorn. The backlash from the public financial markets was swift, merciless, and completely unprecedented. Within a matter of weeks, WeWork's estimated private valuation plummeted from $47 billion. It dropped to $15 billion, then $10 billion, and eventually struggled to find buyers at $7 billion. The planned IPO was officially postponed indefinitely as the entire house of cards began to shake. The venture capital world realized they had been funding a massive, glorified real estate lease arbitrage scheme. The explosive era of growth at all costs tech startups had officially hit a brick wall. With the company facing imminent total bankruptcy, WeWork's major board members staged a dramatic coup. Even his primary financial backer, SoftBank's Masa Son, realized Neumann had become an immense liability. In September 2019, Adam Neumann was officially forced to step down as the chief executive officer. But the final, shocking insult to employees and investors was the massive size of his exit package. SoftBank paid Neumann nearly $1.7 billion just to leave the company and give up his voting power. The man who created the catastrophic multi-billion-dollar mess walked away as an incredibly wealthy billionaire. Following Neumann's sudden departure, the newly appointed management team had to face the grim reality. They immediately canceled the eccentric side businesses, shutting down both WeGrow and the Wave Pool Company. Thousands of dedicated, hard-working employees were abruptly laid off without any lucrative golden parachutes. The lavish corporate perks, free craft beer, and wild international summer festivals vanished overnight. WeWork was forced to renegotiate hundreds of expensive long-term leases with furious landlords globally. The company transitioned into survival mode, desperately trying to prove it could function as a normal business. WeWork did eventually manage to go public years later through a speculative SPAC merger at a fraction of its peak value. But the damage to the company's brand, reputation, and financial structure was permanently fatal. In November 2023, the once mighty $47 billion unicorn officially filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. It stands as one of the most spectacular, catastrophic corporate collapses in modern economic history. The empty desks and vacant glass offices worldwide became physical monuments to unbridled hubris. The massive illusion had finally reached its inevitable, completely predictable tragic end. The tragic rise and fall of WeWork exposes the dark, systemic vulnerabilities of the modern startup ecosystem. It proves that unchecked charisma is a dangerous substitute for a fundamentally sustainable business model. It serves as a stark warning to venture capitalists who mistake rapid, burning growth for real structural value. When the intoxicating hype finally clears, a business must actually generate real, tangible profits to survive. The financial world will eventually forget, but the ghost of WeWork will always haunt Silicon Valley. In the end, even the most beautifully designed corporate illusion cannot withstand the brutal law of gravity. The illusions of the corporate world are masterfully built, but they always leave a paper trail. If you want to see more deep dive autopsies into the world's greatest business collapses, support our work. Click the subscribe button now and turn on all notifications for Empire Autopsy. Leave a comment down below with the next massive business failure you want us to completely dissect. Thank you for watching, stay vigilant, and never buy into the ungrounded hype.